checked the draft.
Oh,
So
December.
it was a mistake. Instead of February, it is mentioned as 23rd December 2020.
Yeah. This 23rd December.
So I hope our students and participants and guests, it was a mistake. Forgive me, it was a mistake. But the poster was correct, actually.
I see. Okay.
Prof. Anis, how is Brunei?
Alhamdulillah. Today is the anniversary of or the 38th anniversary of Brunei.
Oh,
Brunei's independence is today.
it's a public holiday then.
Public holiday. Correct. And how is UIA?
It's good, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. As offline or online?
Everything is online, Prof. Until now.
They are yet to announce for next semester, and I think they are moving to half-half, encouraging students also to come to the campus.
I see. Blended, huh?
Yeah, because difficult to manage students.
We have been on offline since December.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe Brunei doesn't have many cases.
But
Control, right?
Cases are very high.
very high.
Then some students also couldn't come to the class, and then we have a blended mode of study. At the same time, we have online and offline.
Even here in Malaysia, the number is increasing every day almost. But there should be a way to get rid of it, inshallah.
So it is 10:05. Do you think? Can we wait for another 5 minutes, inshallah?
Yes, Prof. Yes.
We'll wait for, because our colleagues are confused because of the second information was wrong.
Assalamu alaikum, Prof.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Dr. Usmani, how are you?
Yes, alhamdulillah, Professor.
Alhamdulillah.
Welcome to all the professors, mashallah, from Indonesia or from Brunei?
Indonesia plus Brunei, both.
Actually,
Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say that Malaysia.
Representing the Malay archipelago, actually.
Yes. Alhamdulillah, after a long time, we can see.
Yeah, long time.
How are you, Prof?
Alhamdulillah. Fine, inshallah. Alhamdulillah.
You became so much, mashallah, like the, what do you call, prophetic. Yes.
It is because of independence in Brunei. That's why you see the light behind Prof. Anis.
Yeah.
The problem with here, we have the due date for the final exam submission, and everybody is busy in marking the paper.
True, yeah.
So if this is the next week, it might be a different scenario. Prof. Ani's background is the real one, or this is the digital one?
Real.
Of course.
You can see him shaking.
This is digital one. Of course.
Yeah, your background seems to be quite nice, mashallah.
And this is how nowadays we can manipulate everything, you know.
True.
Yes.
Everything is artificial today.
We take one background every time. In all the meetings, usually we take one separate.
Yeah.
But now the new trend is you record your speech, send it to the organizer, and then the organizer will play according to the time given to you. So you don't have to be there actually.
Yes, Prof.
Another
The
advantage.
background is from UNISA, exactly. But we can see it, I think, the opposite, the writing. Is it same with other people as well? Because I can see the UNISA started like the kids start writing. They write opposite direction, right? So UNISA here, I can see ASSINU.
Oh.
In my tablet, I don't know. Is it the same with other viewers or not?
It is
let me. Oh yeah. Okay, let me.
I think you cannot correct it. This may be done by the technical people.
We wait for 2 more minutes. We start at 10 lunch. Now only people are joining.
After a long time, we want to see Prof. Anis, and that's why we joined here, mashallah.
Yeah.
You left us for how many years? 10 years or 20 years?
No. I think about 2013.
2013.
Huh?
Not yet. Less than 10 years.
Less than 10 years, I think. Yeah.
Oh,
I left IUM in 2014.
14, yeah, true.
2014.
You became the rector, Prof, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you became rector in Indonesia.
No, is it correct now? The background?
Oh, it's correct now. Mashallah. You are wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
It is corrected.
Amila, I will forward my slides to you.
I think you may share
Thank you.
because if you give it to somebody, then that will disturb you. If you share from your computer, you may share, but you may give it to us, but you share from your computer. That is easy for you.
Yeah, of course. No, I just
otherwise
Dr. Amila wanna see and to give his or her comment.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes the presenters send it to the organizer every time. Next. You know.
Yeah. For me, I prefer to.
Yeah, you can do it better
myself.
Yes, it's fine. But you can send this slide.
Can we now start, Dr. Amila? Okay.
As long as the computer is saying, then we have to follow.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين Sayyidina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Respected Associate Professor Dr. Anis Malik Taha, Deputy Dean, Faculty of Islamic Development Management, Sultan Sharif Ali University, as well as an Associate Professor in the Faculty of Usuluddin, Brunei, Darussalam. Respected Associate Professor Dr. Amila Awang Abdurrahman, Head Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion, Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, International Islamic University, Malaysia. Respected professors, associate professors, lecturers, in particular from the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion, colleagues from other departments and kulliyas, respected students, participants from overseas. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I am pleased to welcome you all this morning to a special lecture on Islam and the Other in Contemporary Kalam Discourse, organized by Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion, Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge, International Islamic University, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. The Department of Usuluddin has been organizing international webinars, special talks, and lectures in order to benefit students as well as people, particularly in the field of Usuluddin and comparative religion. This department is unique in the sense that it combines the discipline of Usuluddin with a discipline of comparative religion and offers courses in different aspects in order to educate the humanity on the role played by the fundamentals of religion, as well as the religions that are practiced by people in different parts of the world. The aim is to make people to understand the contributions of Islam as well as the contributions of other religions to humanity. The department also aims to ensure that students taking courses in this department are conscious of what has been going on in the world in terms of modernity, in terms of secularization, liberalization, so that they can contribute to the development of thought, particularly Islamic thought and civilization, from the perspective of Usuluddin and comparative religion. Since we have been organizing various webinars and discussions, this time we felt that we should focus on a particular theme with a specialized personality who is with us today, who is none other than our respected Associate Professor, Dr. Anis Malik Taha. Before I invite him to deliver his speech on the topic, let me briefly introduce him. Dr. Anis Malik Taha is currently an associate professor at Faculty of Usuluddin and Deputy Dean in the Faculty of Islamic Development Management, Sultan Sharif Ali Islamic University, popularly known as UNISA, Brunei Darussalam. Dr. Anis has served as rector of Sultan Agong Islamic University, Unisula, Semarang, Indonesia from 2014 to 2018. He also served as head of the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion of the Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, International Islamic University, Malaysia from 2006 to 2008. Besides his academic administrative contribution to the university, Dr. Anis also served as Deputy Dean in charge of publications in Research Management Center from 2008 till 2009. And later, he was appointed as Director of IIUM Press from 2009 till 2011. During his time in IIUM, he has contributed remarkably to the development of the department, the Kulliyah, the curriculum, and the IIUM Press in particular. Dr. Anis has taught many courses in the field of comparative religion, philosophy of religion, Islamic thought, and Kalam at IIUM from 2001 to 2014, and Unisula from 2014 to 2019. Dr. Anis has written, edited, translated a number of books and published over several articles in the fields mentioned above. And currently, he is an associate professor at the Faculty of Usuluddin in Sultan Sharif Ali University, as well as he is also contributing as the Deputy Dean to the Faculty of Islamic Development Management of the same university. So with this brief introduction and information, may I respectfully call upon Associate Professor Dr. Anis Malik Taha, our colleague, our friend, our former head, to deliver his speech on Islam and the Other in the Discourse of Contemporary Kalam Scholars. فليتفضل دكتور.
Thank you very much, my senior colleague, Professor Dr. Tamim Usama, Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahilladzi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa dinil haqq liyudhhirahu 'ala ad-dini kullihi wa kafa billahi shahida. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala habibina wa syafi'ina wa qurrati a'yunina sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man ittaba'a hudah ila yaumiddin. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qali. Amma ba'd. Respected colleagues, my senior colleague, Professor Tamim Usama, I can see here also Dr. Ciamna, the address, and also my colleagues and also junior colleagues, Dr. Amila. You can see here also Dr. Mikawati, Dr. Abdul Salam, Dr. Mazia, Dr. Ismail Mamat, yeah, and others that I couldn't mention one by one, and respected dear students. Yes, this is I think the newcomers like Dr. Fatmir and Dr. Ungaran Rashid from other departments, Dr. Nur Usmani, and brothers and sisters, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yes, Dr. Haslina Ibrahim is coming. Right. Actually, to tell the truth, Prof, that I prefer to listen than to deliver. Because you insisted many times that I have to deliver, to give something. Then
we miss you for the last 10 years. We want to hear from you or new knowledge, actually.
Okay, thank you very much anyway. And this is actually an honor for me to be with you and with my colleagues, all my colleagues. Yeah. And alhamdulillah, around 10 years, yeah, or not yet, around 9 or 8 years back, I was with AUM, the Department of Comparative Usuluddin and Comparative Religion. And I've been since moving to different places, yeah, in Indonesia, where I was appointed as rector in the Sultan Agung Islamic University, Unisula, Semarang, Indonesia, for 4 or 5 years. And then now, and since 2019, October 2019, I've been in Brunei, Darussalam, in University Islam Sultan Sharif Ali. This is the new university, young university. It's actually need the support and contribution from our colleagues. Okay, in this forum, I would like to share with you some of my readings, some of my thought during this time, and the topic that I propose to share with you today is about Islam and the others. Yeah, Islam and the other in the contemporary Kalam discourses. Okay. So I purposely selected this topic. It's because of a number of reasons. But nowadays, and actually since the last century, this topic or this issue, to my reading, is the most pressing issues challenging the Islamic identity. And even it is clearly mentioned or written by Western scholar writer, yeah, in his report entitled Hearts, Minds, and Dollars, published in usnews.com, 25 April 2005, yeah, that our contemporary issue, yeah, has been clearly expressed, yeah, in the title, yeah, that there is a serious plan and strategy by the West, of course, yeah, that is to change the very face of Islam. Yeah. And the following developments of political, of geopolitical development, yeah, we are experiencing and we are witnessing this strategy has been at work, yeah, very, very systematically. Yeah. And one of the issue, or the most challenging issue here, is about pluralism. Yeah, because in this report, we can read from the report clearly, yeah, that Kaplan mentioned about the the Western strategy, yeah, in the war of ideas, yeah, and to win the war, yeah, the issues involve the pluralism, yeah, liberalism, and secularism. Yeah. So this issue, yeah, the issue of pluralism, that is the relation between Islam and the other, yeah, has been the most challenging one. This is what I read, and this is what I also I have been witnessing, I've been experiencing. Maybe this is my personal experience, yeah. But what is going on the ground today, especially in my country, in Indonesia, is this. Yeah. While it is very challenging one, the issue has been exacerbated and even exasperated by the internal weakness of Muslims, okay, to an extent that many of them are voluntarily, out of ignorance, of course, degrading, humiliating themselves as local hires. I put what is in quote unquote, because this is what has been also expressed by the the administrators of the the White House, yeah, as mentioned by David Kaplan, yeah. So many of us, yeah, they are very happy to be local hires, and this is what we are also we can see, yeah, around us today. So this is the background of the topic, actually, yeah. And this internal condition, yeah, the weakness of the ummah, the weakness of Muslim today, is comparable, if not worse, to what Al-Ghazali has expressed in his Al-Munqiz min al-Dalal, yeah, the deliverance from the error, yeah. He mentioned, or he wrote there, ثم إني ابتدأت بعلم الكلام فحصلته وعقلته وطالعت كتب المحققين منهم وصنفت فيه ما أردت أن أصنف فصادفته علما وافيا بمقصودهم غير واف بمقصودي. وافيا بمقصودهم غير واف بمقصودي. This translation, I took it from the translator of the book. I began with the study of scholasticism and studied it thoroughly. I read the books written by its well-established scholars and wrote some myself. I discovered it to be a science that served their own purposes, the theologians' purposes, the mutakallimun's own purposes, which, however, were not mine. So he was not satisfied. Al-Ghazali was not satisfied with what has been discussed and what has been in the discourses by the mutakallimun at his time, his era. Again, in the next page, Al-Ghazali said, وَلَقَدْ قَامَ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْهُمْ بِمَا نَدَّبَهُمُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى إِلَيْهِ فَأَحْسَنُوا الذِّبَّ فَأَحْسَنُوا الذَّبَّ عَنِ السُنَّةِ وَالنِّضَالَ عَنِ الْعَقِيدَةِ الْمُتَلَقَّى بِالْقَبُولِ مِنَ النُّبُوَّةِ وَالتَّغْبِيرِ فِي وَجْهِ مَا أحدث من البدع ولكنهم اعتمدوا في ذلك على مقدمات تسلموها من خصومهم واضطرهم إلى تسليمها إما التقليد أو إجماع الأمة أو مجرد القبول من القرآن والأخبار. وكان أكثر خوضهم في استخراج مناقضات الخصوم ومؤاخذتهم بلوازم مسلماتهم وهذا قليل النفع في حق من لا يسلم سوى الضروريات شيئا أصلا فلم يكن الكلام في حقي كافيا ولا ردائي الذي كنت أشكوه شافيا. Some have carried out their task honestly. They have defended the tradition, repulsed the attacks on the faith of the Prophet, and fought against religious innovations. But in doing this, they used arguments borrowed in a spirit of concession from their adversaries. They accepted this either uncritically or based on the consensus of the Muslim nation, or by too simply accepting a supposed meaning of the Quran and Hadith traditions. Most often, their argument was restricted to revealing the contradictions in the opposing view and to attacking their conclusions from their premises. This was not of great use to anyone who does not concede anything beyond the basic certainties. For myself, scholasticism brought little satisfaction and could not cure the sickness from which I suffered. So the experience of Al-Ghazali in his time is very, very useful, in order to understand our situation today. But of course, our situation today could be worse than what has been experienced by Al-Ghazali. I read from Majallat At-Tafahum, the Majallah published in Oman, I think. There is an article written by Izzuddin Jaluli علم الكلام الجديد وحاجة علماء الدين إليه. Before the end of his article, Jaludi wrote, وفي ختم هذا الفراغ المحول بغياب علماء الدين عن هذه الميادين توجه فئات من الباحثين ممن لا يحملون ثقافة عالية في الدين إلى الاشتغال بهذه العلوم الجديدة. He mentioned here about Western epistemology, anthropology, sociology, and also the Western linguistic, the contemporary Western linguistics, semiotics, and also semantics, and so on and so forth. فدرسوها كما هي دون أن يمحصوها على قاعدة فاقد الشيء لا يعطيه. فكانت النتيجة أن كان هؤلاء الدارسون على شاكلة أولئك الذين أبدعوا هذه العلوم سواء بسواء، لا يفرق بينهم فارق سوى أن هؤلاء مسلمون. فحملوا إلى أبناء دينهم هذه العلوم غير منخولة، فأصابت مقاتل في عقيدتنا الإسلامية. In the midst of this threatening void, in the absence of religious scholars from these fields, groups of researchers who do not have a high culture in religion turned to work with these new sciences. So they studied them as they were without examining them on the basis of the one who lost something does not give it, but because they don't have this background, so they took it, whatever. So the result was that these scholars were similar to those who invented these sciences equally, with no difference between them except that they were Muslims. So they brought these sciences to the people of their faith, to us Muslims, and examined. And they infected a fighter in our own Islamic faith. So this is the situation of our scholarship today. And many of our scholars, many of our friends, colleagues, because of they feel that they need to enter this field, but without proper basis and training. All right, since we are talking about Kalam, the contemporary Kalam discourses, we need to review somehow. What does it mean by Kalam? Do we need to revise or to improve or to modify or somehow in the term Kalam here? Let me try to cite what Al-Farabi said about Kalam. Al-Farabi, Al-Farabi, Sina'atul Kalam, malakatun yaqtadiru bihal insan ala nusratil ara wal af'al al-mahdudah allati sarraha biha wadi'ul millah. وتزييف كل ما خالفها بالأقاويل. From his إحصاء العلوم. The art of speeches, or the art of Kalam, is a faculty by which a person is able to support the certain opinions and actions prescribed by the founder of the religion, and to falsify everything that contradicts it with sound argument. So this is a definition by Al-Farabi. We can see here that Al-Farabi tried to be general, to include any trend, any discourse in Kalam here, without specifically mention about some of what the trend, the Kalam the trend in Kalam, or the school of Kalam. Then Imam al-Ghazali, from Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal, said, علم الكلام مقصوده حفظ عقيدة أهل السنة وحراستها عن تشويش أهل البدع. It's 175. The science, the purpose of which is to preserve the creed of the Sunnites and to protect it against the confusion brought by the innovators. So Al-Ghazali clearly mentioned here the school of Ahlus Sunnah, Madhab Ahlus Sunnah, Aqidat Ahlus Sunnah. It is, we can see the clear difference between Al-Ghazali and Al-Farabi here. Another great scholars of Ahl Sunnah, Sheikh Al-Aji, for example, in his Al-Mawaqif fi Ilm al-Kalam, he said, وَالْكَلَامِ عِلْمٌ بِأُمُورٍ علم يقتدر معه على إثبات العقائد الدينية على الغير وإلزامه إياها بإيراد الحجج عليها ودفع الشبه عنها. The ilm al-kalam, the kalam is knowledge of matters with which one is able to prove religious beliefs to others and obligate them convincing by presenting sound arguments against them and to ward off doubts about them. Here, brothers and sisters, we we notice clearly that Al-Iji, as well as Al-Farabi, mention about the general definition of kalam, that kalam is not supposed to be only for the Ahl Sunnah, for the Sunni school. And even if we refer to his own writing here, والمراد بالعقائد ما يقصد به نفس الاعتقاد دون العمل وبالدينية المنسوبة إلى دين محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم فإن الخصم وإن خطأناه لا نخرجه من علماء الكلام. Here, what we can highlight here, somehow Al-Iji and Al-Farabi include all the scholars, all the trends, the schools of Kalam, to be included in this discipline. But Al-Ghazali, as well as Ibn Khaldun, Ibn Khaldun clearly mentioned about the school of Ahl Sunnah. See, for example, in his Al-Muqaddimah, عرف ابن خلدون هذا العلم بقوله وعلم يتضمن الحجاج عن العقائد الإيمانية بالأدلة العقلية والرد على المبتدعة المنحرفين في الاعتقادات عن مذاهب السلف وأهل السنة. He clearly mentioned the madhab of Salaf and madhab of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. It is a science that deals with the arguments about faith, beliefs, by rational evidence and refuting the innovators who deviate in beliefs from the doctrines of the Salaf, and Ahlus Sunnah. So, brothers and sisters, here I would like to draw your attention here that even among the scholars, they differ among themselves. What should be considered as part of Kalam? Whether Kalam should be exclusively within Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, or it may include the other schools of Islam, of Aqidah, which include, for example, the Mu'tazilah, the the Qadariyah, the Murji'ah, and so on and so forth, and even the Shia. So we need to clarify this term while we are actually trying to discuss about Islam and other in the contemporary Kalam discourses. So in order to to accommodate the different opinions, the different thoughts within Kalam, in my assessment and my discussion on Islam and the other here will include broader schools of Kalam, so that they may include even those who are outside the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. All right. Now we come to the who the other is. Who or what the other is. Because when we put the topic, Islam and the other, which means Islam and the other, the non-Islam, outside Islam, not within Islam. Okay? And brothers and sisters, the topic of the relation of Islam and the other has exhausted the energy of contemporary Muslim scholars. We can read the reach of contributions, writings by our Muslim scholars on this particular topic. It is on the relation of Islam and the other. And the latest development of the issue includes terrorism, radicalism, moderatism. I purposely use this moderatism. It's not moderation, but rather moderatism. And then nowadays also we have been reading and also listening to different sources, from different sources about Islam Nusantara, and also Islamophobia, as well as Abrahamic religion. Brothers and sisters, actually, if we are aware about this discourse, the discourse about Islam and the other, usually we will be presented by the discourses, which are actually focusing on these issues, the issue of terrorism, radicalism, moderatism, Islam Nusantara, Islamophobia, and Abrahamic religion. So the issue of terrorism, this since the tragedy of 9/11, and actually prior to this 9/11 has been also the nucleus of this global conflict, and if we trace back to the issue, I think this issue we can find it in the or since the fall of the Berlin Wall, in the 1980s, in 1990, that marked the end of the Cold War. At that time, we read different or reach of the writings and books by the Western writers, especially, that this include Francis Fukuyama, The End of History, and Last Man. And then later on, or somehow a bit later, a very popular book was also published, written by Samuel Huntington, The Clash of Civilization. So these two books have a tremendous impact on the following development of global politics. As Fukuyama prophesies about the culmination of the Western, especially the American democracy, and to an extent that Fukuyama has prophesied that this is actually the culmination of the human history, and that all the people around the globe should follow the path of America. So this has created a lot of tensions between the countries. Okay. Then this has been also aggravated by the thesis by Samuel Huntington, in his The Clash of Civilization. So we clearly noted the events following these years, the issue of terrorism, because at that time radicalism is not really popular yet, but terrorism was already there, and the target was Islam actually, or has been Islam. Okay, so at the same time, different scholars, or different philosophers, they developed the idea of pluralism, because this is in order to also to to support and also to facilitate the universal values of democracy, So the idea of pluralism coming into existence. Yeah? And it is by then that I had also an opportunity to study in depth, yeah, about this pluralism, yeah, in my doctorate thesis. Yeah. So, brothers and sisters, as we are in this particular pluralistic condition, we noticed and we observed, yeah, that among the Muslims, yeah, the Muslim scholars, of course, as usual, in order to respond to this development, usually Muslims will split into different groups, yeah? And two opposing groups. Yeah? We can mention here. The first group, we may call it the Islamic, yeah? And the other is the pluralist. Yeah. Among the Islamic, the representative of this Islamic group, yeah, we may include here the late Professor Ismail Al-Faruqi, Syed Muhammad Naqib Al-Attas, and Ustaz Muhammad Imara. So this we can read his clear Islamic concept, Islamic thought, yeah, about this the relation between Islam and the others. Yeah. While on the other hand, yeah, the pluralist, we may mention here Professor Syed Hussein Nasr, yeah? And in Indonesia we have Nurkhalis Majid. Yeah? So, brothers and sisters, this dispute is due to the different worldviews and philosophical framework of each of them. This is very clear. While Ismail Al-Faruqi, Professor Naqib Al-Attas, and also Professor Muhammad Imara, when we read their works and we read their books, their articles, it's very, very strong, yeah, in its Islamic philosophical framework. Yeah? And by the way, this is also part of those scholars' movement in the Islamization of knowledge. Yeah. Professor Ismail Al-Faruqi could be considered as the most exponent of this Islamic worldview, and also Professor Muhammad Naqib Al-Attas. Yeah. And in this very subject, they have produced a number of articles, a number of written materials. Yeah. So it is very clear the way they view the other, the way they view the others is actually based on the philosophical or Islamic philosophical framework. Yeah. Right? But for the non-Islamic concept of others, as represented by Professor Syed Hussein Nasr, for example, yeah, they are generally developed on the Western philosophical basis, which is mainly secularistic. Yes, Professor Said Hussein Nasr has written a very huge work on Islamization of knowledge, especially in his book, Knowledge and the Sacred. Then if we scrutinize the philosophical framework he used, is actually, we may call it as secularistic. So it is unfortunate that he wants to integrate the sacred, or integrate the knowledge with the sacred. But then, in reality, he actually based his integration on the secularism. As clearly, I argue this in my book, actually, with his perennialism, his perennial trend in the what is it, religious pluralism. So this is very unfortunate that this situation has created further schism among the Muslims, which in turn weaken and paralyze the body of the Ummah. Of course, they may try to support it from the religious text, this concept, non-Islamic concept or the other, including the Islamic text, for example, it's Islamic sacred text. Usually, the ayahs exploited by those pluralistic trends are the ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah and the other one in Surah Al-Ma'idah. It is about the plurality of faith, the plurality of what people of faith, that who will, according to this ayah, will be saved and will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Al-Baqarah, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَالَّذِينَ هَادُوا وَالنَّصَارَ وَالصَّابِئِينَ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَلَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. And in Surah Al-Ma'idah, a bit different reduction. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والصابئون والنصارى من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وعمل صالحا فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Brothers and sisters, I had an experience with those advocate of pluralism who tried to support the plurality with this ayah. Especially when I was part of the JAKIM, Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia. It happened that I had an opportunity to have an interview, to have a dialogue with one of them. Because our colleague mentioned explicitly. He said that explicitly the Quran or this ayah, explicitly consider that these three religion, or the so-called the Samawi, Diyana Samawi, they will find safety and they will find salvation, and that their amal will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, this ayah, by no means support their belief or their opinions, especially when they mention that this ayah explicitly, because there is no explicitly. This is number one. And if we refer to Tafsir al-Manar, this is also used to be referred to by those pluralists. Al-Manar also mentioned this ayah, that the salvation or al-falah or al-najah is not confined to the Muslims. Yes, it is mentioned by Al-Manar or Sheikh Muhammad Abdul in his tafsir. But then Sheikh Muhammad Abdul mentioned here, those who will be saved among the Jews or among the Christians are those who have not received the da'wah of the last prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or they received the da'wah, or the da'wah has come to them, but in a very corrupted manner. So this is what has been mentioned by Al-Manar, Sheikh Muhammad Abdul in his tafsir. So it is nothing to support the pluralistic argument here. Okay. This is, brothers and sisters, I think Prof. Tamim, I will come to the conclusion, and later we'll have time to discuss, inshallah. My conclusion here, the issue of relation of Islam and the other requires the expertise and strong competence in Kalam. And this is what has been urged actually by the late Professor Ismail Al-Faruqi, as clearly mentioned by his first PhD student, Professor Esposito, in his preface of the book on Ismail Al-Faruqi. And actually, Professor Ismail Al-Faruqi has been exemplified by himself. And Alhamdulillah, I'm glad that our colleague, Dr. Haslina, has edited a book on this subject. So I congratulate my colleague, Dr. Haslina, and Barakallahu Fiqh. And with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and we will have question and answer session, inshallah ta'ala. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Anis Malik Taha, for your excellent, enlightened, thought-provoking presentations on the topic Islam and the other in the discourse of Kalam, the contemporary Kalam scholars. You have raised a number of issues also, and also you have answered and clarified many things which are really useful to our participants. Actually, our session does not end with this. We have a discussant who is none other than Associate Professor Dr. Amila binti Awang. She is our head department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion, Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences. Before I invite her to give her views on the subject, let me briefly introduce her. That she obtained her bachelor, master, and doctoral degrees from this university. And secondly, she has been actively involved in students' co-curricular activities in the university. She was also a principal of a mahalla, and she was also involved in many co-curricular activities since 1999 till now. For the duration of 20 or over years, she is very active in these activities. She was also an instructor in several programs organized by Pergas of Singapore as well as Darul Arkam of Singapore, and she presented many papers in various conferences in Malaysia and outside, and published articles in internationally refereed journals. And her field of specialization is Islamic theology, ethics, and religious studies. With this, may I respectfully invite Associate Professor Dr. Amila Awang to discuss the subject matter of the topic. فليتفضل, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Tamim Usama. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inu wa nastahdihi wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah, okay, respected Professor Tamim as the moderator, and then Associate Professor Dr. Anis, who is now in Brunei after leaving us for less than 10 years, and good to have Dr. Anis here back to listen to him. Okay, Alhamdulillah, we benefited from the talk, and the respected colleagues, the participants, students, lecturers, and others. Okay, before beginning my kind of discussion, or I am going to apologize for two things. The first thing is that I think I'm not the person to be here. I am only a junior academician, much junior than Associate Professor Dr. Anis, and he is considered also my teacher when we were in our department here. But Professor Tamim actually insisted me, and especially because maybe other colleagues are busy with their marking of papers and etc. So I say, okay, I try my best. Second thing is actually I would see that I was preparing something, certain readings. And then because Prof. Tamim also mentioned that this time it is very much related with Kalam. Okay, for that I agree to be here. And then I prepared something because when I look into the topic is Islam and the other. So, and then this morning I also asked Associate Professor Dr. Anis about the content of the speech. That I would say that it is not tally with what I was preparing, but no problem. So I thought that because in the philosophy, especially along the line of modernism and postmodern, they also have the other. Okay, the term of the other, and it is actually very much related to the Kalam also. Of course, we know that the postmodern is looking for, relativism, is looking for nihilism, and they don't believe in the monolithic universal answers. of religion. And these are the issues that they highlight, okay, about something more complicated about the other and etc. But basically, yeah, when we go back to the concept of kalam and tawhid, then actually in Islam we don't have problem in having these differences, or when people always want to have special treatment pertaining to what happened to themselves. So it's also a matter of related to something to do metaphysics, ontological, and also ethics. So, but it seems that this time the other that is meant by Dr. Anis is related to between Muslim and the others. So it's very much related to the issue of pluralism and pluralistic of religion. So, but I try my best to give my point of view and summary of what Dr. Anis has been talking about just now. So, of course, the topic actually is very, very important, because we can see that the highlight, okay, the aim, the objective is actually to show that how the discipline of Kalam is not only what has been perceived by many, in which it is only a field or discipline where people come and argue without, and then we repeat the same issues, and then even in Malaysia still we have the issue of takfir and etc. So, but actually, especially I always motivate our students for being in this department, that we have a lot of issues, okay, to address. So one of the issues is about this, how to understand about our living with others in our community, to what extent we can tolerate, and etc. So, of course, you can see that Dr. Anis has been emphasizing on the issue of pluralism, and I believe this has been his area of expert for a long time, and maybe Dr. Haslina is supposed to be here to discuss, and maybe I would say it is a balance then. Okay, no problem. So Dr. Anis was talking about how sometimes the Muslims themselves, who claim to be scholars, also to be very receptive to the other, okay, but including the values and etc. So and then Dr. Anis is mentioning about sometimes it happened in the Kalam about the scholasticism, okay, and then contradiction. So it's not supposedly to be there. So we should bring back to the main issues that what we are facing in the real life related to Aqidah. And then I would say that Dr. Anis is bringing the contemporary scholars. Among others are Al-Faruqi, Al-Attas, Muhammad Aymara, and then we have Nucleus Majid, and Dr. Anis mentioned about some other names, and to put them into a kind of line of thought, especially in dealing with this, the other that is living with others. So I believe that what is very interesting here, again, Dr. Anis reiterates that even in this issue, in which people think that anybody can talk about it, and anybody can provide a solution, okay, to the society, and I would say issues in pluralism is not only the issue. We also have about the same, the understanding of human rights, for example, and etc. So social justice, for example. So here we still need, okay, a person who is an expert in Kalam, and in Kalam, in Usuluddin, especially when we really want to understand and make sure that the answers provided to the people are reflected from the correct worldview of Islam, and it's not just about importing, okay, kind of solutions from others, especially those who come from secularistic approaches. And this is basically what has been, emphasized by Dr. Anis. So, meaning to say that the consequence of worldview in solving the problems faced by the Ummah await, okay? It's always waiting for the correct response from people who really are knowledgeable in this, in the worldview, in the Kalam, and then later on to help the society to understand further. So with this, I would say that, the discipline of Kalam is, of course, still relevant until today, and it is for the students to develop, to explore into new issues. And we have a lot of issues, especially when I mentioned about not only modern, now we have the challenges of postmodern, which can be very attractive to the young, and etc. So this is basically very, very, I think this lecture can give that motivation to our students, even though this discipline on Kalam and Usuluddin is something philosophical or conceptual, something that is not that practical, but this is something that is very challenging and very important to be continued to be studied by our people, and not just to have that discipline that easily produce they call it marketable graduates and etc. So I believe that pluralism and pluralistic society is still relevant issues to be discussed, because now we are not only in our physical globalization, but we are in the gadgets, in the telephone, so everywhere we are interacting with other people. But the most important thing is for the Muslims to know about their identity, to know the the barrier or something that they need to know the limit, and what is more important, basically to understand what Islam really expects from their worldview, and only with that they can be a good Muslim. If not, that they can easily be influenced by other worldviews, and this is basically a very fundamental issue in the life of the youth. So I think that is what I can share here, and I really hope that later on we can have more discussion about this. And therefore, I would like to thank Dr. Anis for such a informative and very interesting sharing this morning. Thank you. Then Dr. Prof. Tamim, I give the floor back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Amila, for your presentation and remarks on the presentation given by Associate Professor Dr. Anis Malik Taha. We have heard from these two scholars. We have students participating in this program. We have academic staff. We have well-established experts and professors who are also participating in this lecture today. I can see people from Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Indonesia, and from other parts of the world are listening to our talk, not only in Zoom, but also in YouTube. According to my student, there are more than 122 people in our YouTube. We hope that they are benefiting, since we have the topic which is very unique, and we have two experts. One is Dr. Anis Malik, and the other one is Dr. Amila, who is also a specialist in Kalam in one way or the other. And we have also others like Hisham is with us, and other Kalam scholars are with us. Can we have some questions from the floor? And before that, we have provided in Zoom link, our attendance link. Please put your attendance so that we can have a record of how many people attended for our future references, inshallah. So now it is time for you to write your question in the chat box, or you can directly ask your question to the speaker. But to begin with, there is a question from the YouTube, which says, Professor, would you clarify the remark local hire, quote unquote, local hire? Dr. Anis. Can you unmute, doctor? Can you unmute?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Tamim, Professor Dr. Amila, who's the enlightening remarks, and also thank to the brother or sister who raised this question, who the local hires. Actually, the local hires, this term actually is used pejoratively by those Western administrators, especially from the White House. This is what has been written by David Kaplan, because this just spend millions of dollars, and they hire the local hires, those brothers and sisters among our Muslim brothers and sisters, actually, who are actually engaging in this discourse through establishing the NGOs. In Indonesia, there are many NGOs, and these NGOs mainly donated, or financed by these foreign agencies, such as the Asia Foundation, the FAT Foundations, the RAND Corporation, and so forth. So those local brothers and sisters, are actually dubbed by them as local hires. Those who receive just penny in order to serve the objective, the goal, and the end of the Western powers, global powers. And there are many, actually, and there are in different countries also. And nowadays, I can see also in Middle East countries also, especially in Emirates. And in Indonesia, for example, this include the prominent figures of Nahdlatul Ulama, of Muhammadiyah also somehow, but not many from Muhammadiyah. From Nahdlatul Ulama, so many. We can see, for example, when we open, just search in the Google search engine, Lib for All, liberal for all. So this liberal for all, you can see there, those prominent people, the prominent scholars, even include our former president, Gus Dur, Abdurrahman Wahid, who was also the chairman of the Nahdlatul Ulama, and also Kiai Mustafa Bisri, and also the current chairman of Nahdlatul Ulama, Yahya Sakuf. It's clearly their pictures are there, so everybody and anybody can see this liberal for all. Okay, so that's what the local hires is not my own. I just use term. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anis, for your response. I may want to know more. Okay, since the term local hire has been coined, which means that some Muslim scholars and intellectuals are identified, or some agencies in the Islamic world are identified and sponsored by the Western agencies to serve the Western imperialists and colonialists. Can we say like that?
Yeah, that's exactly, Prof.
Okay, fine. If this is the case, there are modernists, secularists, liberals among the Muslim world in the 20th century who speak the language of the Western minds. For example, Muhammad Arqon, Muhammad Shahrur, Abid al-Jabiri, Jamal al-Banna, and a few others were championing the cause of Western hegemony, Western imperialism, Western thoughts, Western culture, Western civilization. They justify that these are important for the development of the Muslim Ummah. Can we say these people belong to also quote unquote local hires?
I think by the term, actually, we may include them. Yeah, we may, but maybe they are not really conscious about this. Yeah, it is unconsciously. But as the term actually has been coined by them, of course, this is not the term is not an honor for the people. Yeah. It is pejorative, actually. Yeah. And then this is what, unfortunately, this is what has been used by them. Yeah. So only for those brothers and sisters who are actually engaging and also supporting this course, I think they have to be understood, because this is actually humiliate themselves. Yeah, this is humiliates. They're degrading themselves. Yeah.
What I can see is the interpretation of Islamic principles by such modernists are taken by those Western groups or Western interested groups in the Muslim minority situation to attack Muslims. For example, in the context of India, the current issue is the hijab issue. The state of Karnataka has been banning the students from coming to schools and colleges with hijab. And Muslims are fighting for that. When Muslims say hijab is our tradition, our culture, our Islamic fundamental, and therefore we do not want to leave, but the other side of the people bring justifications from the writings of the so-called Muslim modernists and Muslim secularists because they are against hijab. For example, Arqon, the entire Arab modernist group is against hijab, is against veil, and they are secular-minded. So the secularists who are popular, who are talking against all these Islamic fundamentals, are quoted by the non-Muslim scholars in favor of what they think, what is Islam. So this is the problem, Doctor.
Yeah. Okay, Prof. Tamim. I think in this case, I would like to share with, or maybe our brothers and sisters already read also by themselves, that as far as the secularism is concerned, or the so-called Weberian secularization, the so-called disenchantment of nature, Actually, this idea or this this philosophy, it has been bankrupt and has been denied or criticized by the supporters themselves. Even those Weberian scholars, such as Peter Berger, for example. Peter Berger has criticized bitterly. Peter Berger is among the prominent sociologists, American contemporary sociologists. He was once an advocate, promoting the secularization. But then, of late, he published a number of articles and also books criticizing the secularization. Among the theologians, this American theologian from Harvard, his name is Harvey Cox, for example, who published a book entitled The Secular City. The Secular City. Until 80s of the last century, he was so active promoting secularization. And then towards the end of the 20th century, precisely in 1999, he published a book. He published an article, not a book. An article. Then this article entitled "The Myth of 20th Century: Rise and Fall of Secularization." Again, he also convinced himself that he need to revise what has been propagated by him before. But of course, he tried to avoid to use resacralization. But somehow, according to him, that secularization is, according to him, is is not plausible. As a sociological, the term secularization is implausible, according to him. Okay, that's my.
Thank you, Dr. Anis, for your clarification. I have a question from a participant from Sultanate of Oman, and his name is Shihab At-Tamimi, who was our student before in the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion. And his question is, the challenges against Islamic Aqidah is more complicated nowadays than it was the other. The other tries to use scientific methods to prove his ideologies. Do you think that we are in need of a neo Kalam?
All right. I think to answer this question, that indeed we need a new Kalam, actually. In the sense that the Kalam, we have to develop the Kalam in accordance with the new development of the scientific discourses today, especially with regard to to the linguistics, the postmodern philosophy. Because the postmodern philosophy actually is the most challenging today, and pluralism is just one of this the issue discussed in depth in this postmodern philosophy. Yes, we indeed need is what the new kalam. Yeah, I mean those mutakallimun, yeah, who are well versed, yeah, in this the new kalams, yeah, in the new philosophical discourses. Yeah. It's not just the classical one. Yeah, of course, classical one still we have to maintain. Yeah, but we need more in order to understand and in order to be able to respond the development, such as what has been exemplified by Professor Ismail Al-Faruqi himself. That's, I think, our for our today. Yes, I'm not the student of Al-Faruqi, the direct or immediate student, but my lecturers, my professors were actually the student of Al-Faruqi, and when I read this book and I read from these students also, that yeah, he actually what has been termed by Esposito to me is very, very impressive. Yeah? That Al-Faruqi is a Muslim trailblazer of the 20th century. Yeah. So we have to follow his path.
Yes. So we need new Ilmul Kalam to answer the modern challenges. That is the answer given by Dr. Anis.
I think Dr. Haslina can have some more, bro.
Can we invite Dr. Haslina to add more life to the discourse?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor Anis. You are the right person to speak of Kalam. To tell you frankly, it was actually from your discourse, the work that you have written, Objectivity, the study of religion, the one that you published in Intellectual Discourse, that has instigated my interest, whether we should carry on the way we study comparative religion, the way it is studied in the West. On the other hand, how the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion should pursue from there. Recently, when the head of department, who is also our discussant today, Associate Professor Dr. Amila, asked me, is this a way that we teach comparative religion at the department? That also bothers me a lot, because we do not want to replicate what has been prepared, what has been offered in the Western universities, in the US, in the UKs. Going back to what I have said just now regarding the objectivity in the study of religion, and that your article has instigated of my interest. So having done my degree in Usuluddin, and I look back at what I have learned in Usuluddin, I believe that as students of comparative religion, we cannot do away with Usuluddin. Yeah. So if we, regardless whether we want to call it new Kalam or not, but I believe that is why the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion maintain its name, despite the pressure that we have to name or to brand our department with a more commercialized name. Yeah, because we believe that we cannot do comparative religion without Usuluddin. That I believe, and I believe you also share this perspective. And Al-Faruqi is, mashallah, excellent, especially if we look at his work, Christian Ethics, whereby he make I would say a Kalam approach in understanding, in criticizing Christianity. That is, I would say, a fatal blow to the doctrine of salvation of Christianity. A very beautiful work, modern work that has flavors of Kalam. Somebody said that he inherits Ibn Hazm method, critical analysis of Ibn Hazm's work in Christian ethics, whereby he used meta-religion. Though I have speak with somebody else who is also a specialist in comparative religion, a Muslim scholar. I said to him, why not we name our, the courses that we offered World Religion 1, World Religion 2 as meta religion. So we can also introduce Al-Faruqi's discourse. We want some originality in terms of what we are offering to our students. But then this particular specialist told me that Al-Faruqi is still biased. So, Prof. Anis, I go back to what you have, discussed in the article, objectivity. That's why later on I published an article talking about is verification of the truth required or needed in the study of religion or in comparative religion, ilmu al-milal wa al-nihal. And I found that our mutakallimun, mashallah, they did that. Except that in the Western scholarship, we do not have this verification of the truth because they don't bother about the value of the truth in the first place. So Prof. Tamin, to answer your question, whether it is new kalam or not new kalam, I think we should be enlightened by the way mutakallimun pioneered comparative religion in Usuluddin. And I hope our department will continue to champion this cause, that we cannot do comparative religion without Usuluddin. That would be it. And I invite everybody else to read the work of Associate Professor Dr. Anis Malik Taha in Intellectual Discourse. You can get access to it, this objectivity in the study of religion, Dr. Anis, and mashallah, you will be enlightened by this work, inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hasina, for your comment. I can read another question from the chat box. Dr. Anis, you mentioned the term moderatism used in the Islam and the other discourse. I believe it is different from the concept of wasatiyya in Islam. Could you mention the differences between these two terms? This is the question coming from Dr. Megawati, assistant professor from the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion. Please.
Thank you very much, Prof. Tamim, and thank you, Dr. Mika, for this question. Yes, as I said, I put it moderatism. It is not moderation, not wasatiyah, Islamic wasatiyah. No, because this moderatism has been coined by, of course, they don't coin moderatism. Moderatism itself is by myself. I put it in this way, according to my reading, that they try to propagate this moderatism because it is they try to hijack the term wasatiyah for their own purposes and their own interests, which is actually not correct. Yeah, because it's just the essence that is wasatiyah, but the ingredients, the content is totally different from what wasatiyah is actually conceived in the Quran. For example, rent corporation. Again and again, because I read a lot about the publications by rent corporation, especially in the book entitled Building Moderate Muslim Network. Building Moderate Muslim Network. And this book is actually also online and free. Yeah. So the criteria of moderate Muslim, they put 4 or 5 criteria. Number 1, acceptance of democracy. Yeah. And secondly, acceptance of the non-sectarian sources of law. Yeah. And respect for the right of minority and women, and also rejecting the violent use of this extremism or violent ways. Yeah. Anyway, the point that comes to my mind here is that what is it? The acceptance of non-sectarian sources of law, which means that if a Muslim still insisted to have Sharia as his own source of law, is considered as non-moderate. Non-moderate, which means radical, yeah, according to them, or radicalist. So this, I think, is quite contrary to what has been, what is taught in the Quran, because the Quran itself says that, you know, as a Muslim, we have to stick to Islamic Sharia. Yeah.
Yes.
Non-Sharia or outside the Sharia, it is somehow could be accepted as long as what do not contradict with Sharia. This is what has been discussed by our scholars, our great scholars. So that's why I use moderatism, since this is in order to to distinguish between moderation, the wasatiyah taught in the Quran, and wasatiyah as propagated by those Western agencies.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor, for your excellent remark. Let me move on to the next. Jazakumullah, Dr. Anis, for your excellent talk. And this is very important topic indeed. This helps us refresh our mind with regard to the other, or perhaps in Kalam definitions, al-munharifin or al-bid'ah. The question is, what is possible ways and practical approach as a scholar or educator in educating our students in this regard? Thank you. This is a question and comment by Dr. Asma Al-Muhammadi, an assistant professor at the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion. Dr. Anis, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tamim and Asma, for this question. I think actually what we need actually is to equip ourselves, yeah, or to enrich our reading. Yeah. Then, as I said earlier, and also Dr. Slina just now mentioned, that we have to be well versed also in our own first. Yeah, we have to be well grounded in our own religion. Otherwise, if we are not well versed or well equipped, yeah, I'm afraid that we get lost, because those who get lost actually is because they are not well grounded in our religion. And this is actually the point that has been reiterated also by Al-Faruqi, yeah, about the identity. This is our identity. So we have first our identity so that we can identify the others. If we don't have our own identity, then we will fail to identify the others. So that's why many people today, because what has been also used by Professor Alatas, often the confusion of knowledge, yeah? Because of the confusion of knowledge, and especially knowledge about oneself. Yeah? So that's why we need to be well grounded in ourselves first. So who are we? And it is interesting. Let me read Al-Faruqi's statement. Here, yeah, again, Esposito quote this. There was a time in my life when all I cared about was proving to myself that I could win my physical and intellectual existence from the West. But when I won it, it became meaningless. I asked myself, who am I? A Palestinian, a philosopher, a liberal humanist? My answer was, I am a Muslim. Subhanallah. So this is the very, very strong iman, you know. It's rarely to find or to get a Muslim scholar living in the West, who has this strong iman. So we have to ensure ourselves that we are, our identity is there. That's, I think, Dr. Asma. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Let me move on to another one. This comes from Aliyu Al-Haji Rabi'u. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Jazakumallahu khairan for the insightfully informative talk. This is the question. Please, in the guise of contemporary reality of globalization, how can a Muslim be pluralistic in relation with the other while avoiding syncretism?
A pluralistic Muslim. A Muslim shouldn't be a pluralistic. My answer that a Muslim shouldn't be a pluralistic. Because, you know, that's why this is where most of our colleagues actually are not aware about. Pluralistic is from pluralism, and we deny the pluralism. Pluralism is not Islamic. Pluralism is actually Western. It's democratic, yes. But in Islam, we respect plurality, yes. We respect diversity, yes. And we have to honor, we have to celebrate this plurality, but not pluralism, because pluralism is an ideology, It is a philosophy, it is a concept, a Western concept. So please be clear, when we use a term, especially the Western term. That's my answer, Prof.
Okay, fine. I have read the questions which are very important from the chat box. Can we now hear from people from the screen? Do you have any comment to make or question to make? It is 12 noon. We still can go with the permission of our speaker and discussant. Especially Dr. Anis is very busy. We cannot get him. Once we leave him, then we get him only after 3 or 6 months. He is busy. So use this opportunity to get clarification from him on issues that we have in our mind on the topic in particular. I can see some people are thinking and contemplating, but they are not coming forward. It seems Dr. Fatwin has a question. Yes, Dr.
I think there is another question in our chat box.
Yes, where is it? Yes, okay, now I read. This is coming from Professor Siddiqui from Sri Lanka. I am a professor from Sri Lanka in a medical field. nowadays in the West, the West and the other anti-Muslim organizations use the term Islamism. This is portrayed as the root of extremism. What is the take of the panel of the learned scholars here? This is a question from a professor from Sri Lanka. He is in the medical field. He is asking about the term Islamism.
Yeah.
The difference between Islam and Islamism. And Islamism is portrayed as the root of extremism. So he needs some clarification, please.
Yes. With my due respect, Prof. Tamim, yeah, to the professor who raised this question. Again, we are now in the war of terms, the war of ideas. So we have to be very, very careful. Yeah. Don't use the weapon of the enemy. Yeah. We have our own weapon. Yeah. Don't use the weapon of our enemy, because the weapon of our enemy, they can control well about their weapon. Yeah. Islamism, yeah, this is, yes, that they decidedly use or create this term, yeah, which is more to those who are engaged in political Islam, according to them. Yeah. But of course, we to my understanding, that in Islam, yeah, we have to deal with all aspects of Islam itself, including politics. If we are expert and we have expertise, we are competent, yeah, on that field. Yeah. But Islamism itself is actually unfortunate, I think, unfortunate term. It is not an Islamic term. Yeah. So we shouldn't use this term, yeah. But that the Muslim must also, yeah, enter into politics. This is actually this is a duty of, because this is part of our duty as Muslims. Yeah. But to to stigmatize Islam, yeah, as extremism, yeah, those who enter or engage in politics or political activities, then called as extremists and so on and so forth. Of course, this is very, very unfortunate, especially when it is coined or it is said by a Muslim. Yeah.
Yes.
So we should avoid this kind of term. Okay. Yes. That's my opinion.
Yes. Thank you, Doctor, for your clarification. I also agree with you that we should use only the terms which are used in the Quran, in the Sunnah, and in the Islamic heritage. Islam is the word used in the Quran. Inna ad-deena indallahi al-Islam. So we use the word Islam throughout our civilization. But over the last 2 or 3 decades, many adjectives have been added to the term Islam. For example, as you said, political Islam, cultural Islam, civilization Islam, moderate Islam. See, the Western anti-Islamic think tanks always coin new terms and popularize those terms in the Muslim world, in order to confuse the people so that the people can be easily diluted in terms of their Islamic faith, identity, thought, culture, and civilization. So we should go back to the Quranic terminology, the Sunnatic terminology, and the terminologies used in our Islamic heritage. I fully agree with you. This is the position also of the many of our Muslim scholars. Thank you. Okay, now, any other question from the chat box? I'm trying to see. I'm sure that Professor M.A.M. Siddiqui has got some information with regard to his question. He may also add if there is anything in his mind. If he is online, can we invite Professor M.A.M. Siddiqui to respond to our response? Prof. Siddiqui, are you available with us? Okay, fine. We don't get him.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
Walaikum salam, Professor.
Salam.
You are most welcome, Professor. Please.
Yeah. I'm actually actually the term I use the term Islamism not because I agree with that term in any sense. I'm totally aware of the context the Professor Anis explained now. I resent this word. I always take it as a conspiratory word against Islam and Muslims. So, but in your wide discussion on the topic of Kalam, where you have included various other rather peripheral things like secularism also as part of the discussion, this term, which is used in the Western press all the time, is something that we have to be aware of, and its negative impact to our religion of Deen Islam. So that I just wanted to bring that issue for a discussion rather than you don't take it as I'm using this.
No, we understand, Doctor. We understand.
I'm totally flabbergasted to be accused of as a Muslim using this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use that in my dream, but I'm one of the strong critic of this term. But I just wanted to bring it to the discussion so that clarification could be made. Okay. So I hope you appreciate. Jazakallah.
Yes, we appreciate your concern. Now we want to hear from Dr. Fatmir, a specialist of comparative religion. Please welcome.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Prof. Tamim. So we are very enlightened with the presentation of Prof. Anis Malik, alhamdulillah. A long time that we were not listening from him, and this is a great opportunity. And he has discussed a very sensitive topic and very important as well. So when I look at, maybe let just me give some comments, then I would like to ask a question to Prof. Anis later on. So when I look at Ilm Kalam as it has been presented today, perhaps previously it was very, dynamic, whereas today Ilm Kalam is not dynamic. We don't see it as it was previously. Why? Because when I look at the religious pluralism that is introduced by the West, has dominated this scholarship. And we look at other scholarships as well. And even Muslim intellectuals of our time, including even in our university, they have been confused with the term pluralism. Because they, even when we look at, as it was mentioned by Dr. Anis, like identity, we are missing the identity. There is no, a break between the Islamic identity, the real Islamic identity, and the Western identity, and that has created a confusion. And many of, when I look at the writings, we don't have a clear masterpiece in order to understand Ilm Kalam as it was described, communicated by the classical, if I say, scholars of this discipline. When I look at the great minds that were behind Ilm Kalam, it started like at the beginning, they wanted to defend their views and every one of us is aware of it, when others interfered into the mindset of the Muslims, and that is how this scholarship was developed. Now today we have the same scenario. So what I have seen today, the approach of the Muslims is very apologetic. And most of them, they use the term like harmony. You have to live in harmony with others. You have to respect others, we have to tolerate others. So this has created another confusion, what I have seen. When I have studied scholars in comparative religion, like Ibn Hazm, Ibn Taymiyyah, even Faruqi, when I look at his book, Christian Ethics, so Faruqi presented the contemporary scholarship of Ilm al-Kalam, if I say directly and indirectly. And what made Faruqi to have a strong foundation about this scholarship and his point of view, so that made him to travel to go to Egypt and sit there in Egypt for 4 years. Now he had the scholarship, he knew the West, but he was not clear about the Islamic identity. So that made him to sit with the shuyukh in Azhar and develop his personality. When he came back, then he came well prepared. That's why he established this scholarship. So I'm very much impressed. When I look at Faruqi, and we don't have that lineage to continue. As I mentioned, it is very weak today. We need to come back. Maybe we can be objective in nature, but we can be critical as well. So critical when you provide alternatives. So we don't have to be like please others without providing any alternatives. We can criticize others, like Ibn Hazm, and like Faruqi, he is very critical in his scholarship. And many, even the Christians, were not happy with his approach, but he presented a masterpiece that maybe many people are not happy with that. But when I look at the scholarship, it's very unique and it is straightforward, So it is straightforward. That's why we need this scholarship. I don't mean that when you criticize somebody doesn't mean that you hate him. Doesn't mean that you hate him, but you provide alternative for him to improve. Now, when you look at this, Dr. Anis, so my question will be what will be the way forward? Now, let's say we are in this situation that this scholarship is not very strong. I know that, let me just, before you talk, it was before 4 years or 5 years here in Malaysia, they're talking about Kalam Hari Hari, the daily Kalam, they wanted to bring Kalam into application. You see, they wanted to bring Ilmu Kalam into application, talking about the application, how to apply. Because Muslims are facing problems with Aqidah issue, for example. When we mix with others, they don't differentiate between what is Islamic and non-Islamic. So looking at this, so Dr. Anis, I would like to know what is your point of view about the way forward. What should be done? You mentioned what we have. So I would like to see what, according to your experience, and you are an expert in this field, we have many students here that are going to lead tomorrow, inshallah. So they will benefit from your point of view to give us some recommendations, what should be done in order to maintain, to strengthen this scholarship. Thank you very much, Dr. Anis.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Fatimir, for your remarks. Dr. Anis, what Dr. Fatimir says is that, yes, Ilmul Kalam was very dynamic in the past. It helped in maintaining, in sustaining and conveying the true meanings of Aqidah to the others. And in the contemporary scenario, Ilmul Kalam is there, but it is very weak. And we do not know what will happen if it is not strengthened in the near future. So Dr. Fatimir is asking for the way forward. I think one of the important things that we should remember is that we have the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion, and you have the department or the faculty of Usuluddin in Brunei Darussalam. We may come up with a joint research project to address some of the concerns raised in this forum. So let me now invite Dr. Anis for his response. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatmir and Tamim. I think Dr. Haslina and also Prof. Tamim just now so clearly mentioned about the existence of Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion. So this department, I think, will play an important role to prepare for the generation, the next generation, of course. Of course, Dr. Fatmir, Al-Faruqi is was among thousands of scholars, Muslim scholars. Yeah. Likewise, in each generation, yeah, there are a huge number of scholars. But of course, what is it? Figure, yeah, important prominent figure like Al-Faruqi. Of course, it's rare. But we shouldn't despair, and we shouldn't. We should always has a positive future, inshallah. That if we do according to the what has been exemplified by our predecessors, such as Faruqi, I think that we will manage, inshallah, to to prepare the next generation, if not ourselves, and our generation, next generation, inshallah. But then this must be, of course, in the continuous, process, in the continuous development, yeah, improvement, and so on and so forth. As I mentioned earlier, of course, that yes, we understood that our classical Kalam was so dynamic, yeah, and this has been the strength, yeah, of their generation, of course. And to my understanding, yeah, what we are facing today and the future, of course, somehow is different, yeah, of what has been in the past. Yeah. That's why we have to improve ourselves. And that's why the department also, I mean, such as Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion, should review from time to time its curriculum, yeah, it's the subjects, and also the way they train the students. From time to time, I think we need to review, to revise, you know, to improve, and so on and so forth. But of course, this the main or the bottom line is actually we need to strengthen ourselves first. Yeah, the self must be strong. Otherwise, we'll not be able to improve and to produce new generation which is better than us. Yeah. So that's, I think, my response, Prof. Tamim.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anis, for your response.
And here we have Prof. Abdulaziz Bargut, and we have others.
No, we have Prof. Aziz Bargut joining us silently. He is there. Maybe we can listen to him. Perhaps we can have a joint collaboration between the Department of Usuluddin and ISTEC and Faculty of Usuluddin of your university to come up with a new Ilmul Kalam, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So maybe I can suggest Dr. Amila can take up, because she's our head of the department. So we can think of having a kind of resolution in this today's forum to have a joint committee between our department. ISTEC, Honorable Professor Aziz is with us. Of course, he is very open in this regard. And then Dr. Anis is representing Faculty of Usuluddin of UNISA. Perhaps we can come up with a joint committee and organize one international conference on towards developing a neo Ilmul Kalam to begin with, maybe. So if this is acceptable, we can, inshallah, initiate our discussion in our meetings later, inshallah. So we are now reaching 12:20. We have scheduled to have until 12:30. We have 10 minutes more. If there is anyone who would like to contribute to develop our ideas now, yes?
Can we listen from Prof. Aziz Bargut, please?
Professor Aziz, people are willing to hear from you. Can you show your handsome face? maybe he is busy with another meeting. We do not know.
Maybe, yeah.
Simultaneously, he used to attend 2-3 meetings. Perhaps he is there. Anyway, I will communicate with him, inshallah.
Yes, I think it's a good idea, Prof, to materialize this vision. And Dr. Amila, I hope that either from your side or from my side, it's no problem. You can propose.
Inshallah, we are looking into that. I'm happy that you agree and you are the dean there. Then inshallah, okay, inshallah, we have our committee member and you keep in touch later.
Okay. So we do not have questions from the chat box. Also, no questions from the YouTube monitoring officer. So if this is the case, may I take this opportunity to thank first Associate Professor Dr. Anis Malik Taha for his remarkable presentation, then Associate Professor Dr. Amila Awang, our beloved head of the department, for her discussion. I also thank many of our participants from India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Indonesia, Sultanate of Oman, which I could see from the screen. Perhaps there are participants from other parts of the Muslim world. So I thank every one of you for your interest, for your participation, for your contribution. Please help us to develop a new Ilmul Kalam so that we can address the contemporary unprecedented challenges faced by Islam and Muslims in this 21st century. With this, I once again thank you all very much, and we will have, inshallah, series of special lecture or webinars organized by this department. Inshallah, there will be another one coming because of Ramadan. I'm planning whether to have it in Ramadan or after Ramadan. Inshallah, we will invite you all to participate. Please reserve your valuable time whenever we send our notification. Participate, give your ideas, give your support. Let us work together for the upliftment of Ummah, for the upliftment of the university, for the upliftment of higher education and humanity at large. With this, I once again thank you all very much. Wa billah tawfiq wal hidayah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Prof. Kamil.
Thank you very much. Inshallah, I'll come back to you later, Dr.
Inshallah.
I have to thank also our technician. I forgot, Brother Ismail, our webmaster, our technician. They have been very much kindful to us. My students also, particularly Assess and Sister Asira, they were working very hard to prepare e-poster and everything. So I always thank my students also. Thank you very much. Sister Laila also is there from Serbia participating. Thank you very much, sister.
Walaikum salam, Prof.
Thank you very much.
See you, Prof.
Pardon? Okay. Start.